we've been living out of this shed for quite a hot minute now, and it's been doing pretty well for us, but the problem is, I'm clawing through barrels over here trying to get my items, and we're just, frankly, running out of storage space. I mean, this is just leaf litter here. We've got plenty of different items. There's just not enough space, and the barrels on the ground here, so I think it's a time for an upgrade. And I specifically need a Shulker box related sorting storage system. And the person that I know that's already built one of these is Etho. In his episode 3, he went through a little bit of a tutorial, kind of, explaining how the system works. I figured out how to build it into a creative world, and now I'm ready to build it in this world. So, let's go ahead and build a science facility that has the capabilities of Shulker box sorting and storage, that also has a little bit of an ender chest sorting system part in it, and bulk storage above, where I can summon whatever items I need in Shulker boxes to use for projects. So, without further ado, let's get building. Like any project that I do, it always starts off with the white box. Now, if we take a look on the inside, we've got a hole dug here and a whole bunch of redstone here. As I mentioned, we are going with the Etho storage system, and I am going to show you how to build it. So inside of the Shulker box are all of the resources that you need. These two over here are actually 17 building blocks. I'm just using polished deep slate for redstone, and then the smithing table for the top there, but really it's just 17 blocks in total. I'm going to add a little bit more to my pile just so I have things to kind of temporary blocks so I can place things a little bit easier. So you need 6 droppers, 4 redstone dust, 3 barrels, 3 observers, 3 note blocks, 3 repeaters, 2 chests, 2 hoppers, 2 redstone torches, a comparator, a dispenser, a piece of mud, and a piston and a sticky piston. So this is everything we're going to need to build this system. The size of it is a 4x4x5. And yeah, without further ado, let's start building this. I'm going to see if I can do this from memory, from building this as many times as I have. Now, you may notice, it is semi-tileable, so it can tile in this direction, but unfortunately it cannot tile in this direction, so I have a little bit of a separator here, but it works well going that way. So we're going to just follow this and go one over, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Place that here. 2 blocks down here. We're then going to put a piece of redstone on top of that, and 2 repeaters. The last repeater is going to be on 4 ticks right there. We're going to then place blocks along the edges over here, and a block on top of that. And we are going to place redstone dust along this edge here, and a repeater facing into that block there. And we're going to put a note block right over there, and we're going to put 3 observers. 1 observer goes there, 1 observer goes there, and the other observer is going to go down here. Now, the next part, let's see, which item do we want to go with next? Let's go ahead and start getting droppers in place. So it's going to be a dropper right over the meter here, another one facing up, and then we're going to go ahead and grab our smithing tables, place 2 here and here. And then the last dropper is going to be facing out this way. And then we're going to place a block on top of that, or next to that observer, a comparator on top of that, and we're going to put a hopper facing into this dropper. We can take our other 2 droppers, we could put 1 up here, and then the dispenser on top of that, and on the other side, piston. And then in this gap right here, you're going to go ahead and place your chest. Heading back down here, I'm going to actually remove this so that it's a little easier. We're going to place a sticky piston right there, put the dispenser back, and then we're going to grab this, and we're going to put a block. The comparator is going to face into a block. We're going to put another one right there. Yes, this is correct. We're going to put a piece of redstone here, but make sure it is a dot. We're going to put a torch right there, and a torch right here. Don't ask me how this is powering that. I have no idea. Then we're going to take a dropper. We're going to place a block on top of the piston just so we can put a dropper facing into this dropper here. So you should have 2 dropper chains. One starts underneath this piston and goes up here and out to this side here. And then the other one is going to go from this, facing this way, up and into the dispenser. We could put our other hopper right over there. On top of the second hopper in the middle of the entire contraption, you're going to put the piece of mud right there. we can go ahead and take our barrels and place those along the edge right here, and take our smithing tables to just fill it in. We have 2 more note blocks that I have yet to place. Let's calculate. Note blocks. I think that's actually everything. I don't think you need those 2 note blocks. Let's go ahead and see if this system works. The way to test it if it works is you're just going to throw a shulker box in on top of that piece of mud, and it should place it right there. And if you want to see if it's swapping, so currently we have all of our resources to build several more of these, we're going to go ahead and drop an empty shulker box in, and it should replace it. And your full shulker box should end up in this barrel right there. And that's how you build Etho's shulker swapping sorting storage system. That's a lot of S's. Alright, I'm going to build the rest of these now, and I'll see you guys back when I get that done. And the floor is complete. So we've got 24 modules here, all for different sorting things. Now, I do have to have the fun task of figuring out exactly what each of these categories is going to hold. Now, you may notice that I did not build a 5th layer over here and have 30 modules in total. That's because I need a place for bulk storage. Now, if worse comes to worse, we could just have a bunch of chests on this wall and it'll be pretty easy. Boom, easy, easy. But I don't want to do that. What I want to create is a giant brain where I can store bulk above in this giant old space that we've got above us. I want to be able to take a block and say, hey, I want 3 shulker boxes of stone. Can you give me that? And the system will say, okay. And it'll find the stone. It'll give me 3 shulker boxes and I can be on my merry way. I can chuck a bunch of stuff in there and say, hey, I have a bunch of random shulker boxes of stuff from a dig. And I don't want it no more. And I think that would be really cool. I don't know if I could build it, but we're going to figure that out. So I'm going to just kind of whittle away and figure out if I can actually make a system, a brain that can calculate all of this for me. So I'm going to get grinding and I'll let you know if it works. Well, I designed the brain and it worked, but it was incredibly inefficient and I lost shulker boxes from it and it was really slow and it could only handle 1 shulker box at a time and I didn't even finish designing it. There were a lot of problems with the brain. So let me go over to a testing world and show you what I did create and the reason why I can't use it. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, hi, welcome to the testing world, and behind me is it was supposed to be the brain. So let me take you through how this thing works. Basically, what this machine can do is a shulker box can go in a full shulker box. It'll take out 1 item, check with the filter. If the filter is correct, this shulker box will break. That shulker box will become the new filter, and this shulker box will then move into here. If it is not in the filter, then it will go down, be placed back in, and sent over to the other guy. So if we go ahead and take that, which currently doesn't have everything in it, so we'll go ahead and do that, right? So this is a full shulker box of andesite. If we take this, which is a full shulker box of repeaters, get rid of everything here. I'll show you what this can do, okay? So we go ahead and put the polished andesite in and put that in there. Right, so it replaces that. Did it already break? I think it already broke. Yeah, it broke. See, this is the problem. This is why we can't go with this design. It breaks. It just breaks. But wasn't that cool? Alright, see, you know what I mean? The red, that's stuck in there. That was supposed to be there, but this is not supposed to be there. Hold up. Let me show you what happens if it doesn't go through. So let's throw that in there. So it'll place it. It'll go through. It'll break. That'll go in there, which will go all the way back up. And once it gets through, it'll go in there. It'll break that. Place it again. And now we have a full shulker box of redstone repeaters. See, it's really cool. It is. But as you can see, it has a lot of kinks. I gotta put glass here to make sure that things don't pop out, because that happened a few times. But, I mean, the redstone's pretty solid. We started all the way over here with this. This was the original, like, first thought. That didn't work out. So then we made this. We figured out how to make a system that only took 1 item out of this, right? So if we were to put 1 in there, It'd only take one out by pushing a cauldron back and forth, which would temporarily, just for long enough, unpower this. The issue is originally we had a design that used a redstone torch and an observer that would turn it off, but that didn't work because it would send 2 items through, which we didn't want. This seemed to work, so I went with it, and then we kind of kept developing it, and we have the replacing module, so we do that. Oh, I forgot, I kind of, yeah, that goes down there, which then goes through all that, blah, blah, blah. I think this is, yeah. It's completely different items. But yeah, we figured out the replacing module, then we added everything else to it, which just kind of does everything else that we needed, which is super cool. So then, you place that in there, goes through, it breaks that, it sends it through, and then we get another one. And, it's really, really cool. But as you saw, you put too many shulker boxes in there, it breaks. And you look at how big that is, I could fit 8 of these in my thing. If we head back to our world, you will see that we have way more than 8 slots already for bulk items. And that's not including anything new that we get. So that's kind of a problem. So let's go ahead and head back to the main world, and I'll show you what I've been up to. Alright, well, yeah, the brain didn't work out, but we still got the interior of this all done. So we've got a nice ceiling here, we've got lights, it's still pretty dark in here, but I think it works out. And I've labeled where I want everything to go. So I'm just going to kind of walk you through everything. We got stones, we got diggables, we got aqua over here, nether, and the depths, which is skulk and amethyst, end dimension stuff, nether stuff. I mean, most of this is pretty self-explanatory what goes in it. Stones are obviously all the stones, diggables like sand, gravel. The reason these are on this side is because it's next to bulk storage, which, yes, is just a wall of chest, but however, I really like the way this looks. Now, if we look over here, we've got our wood supplies, our greenery, anything that's farmable, workstations, richities, and redstone, followed by mob drops, mob heads, creeper works, copper works, and iron works, so any copper and iron supplies, food, and colored blocks like glass, wool, terracottas, concrete, all of that goes there. Then we've got the miscellaneous, 2 categories for it. I feel like I could probably figure out what, that one's going to be, but I just don't know yet. We'll see when we start sorting everything. Then we've got books, which are like paper, bookshelves, all of that kind of stuff. The unstackables, and then archery, which will also include pillager stuff. And then armor tools, weapons, all of that good jazz over here. There is, in fact, a reason for everything. I got wood, stones, all of that kind of stuff, colored blocks right at the entrance, because those are probably the things that I'm going to want to go to the most, whereas things like armor and mob drops, mob heads, I won't have as often, and those are all right next to each other, because if I have a mob head, there's a good chance I had mob drops to go with that, and there's a good chance if it was hostile that I got armor that I don't really need, but I'm going to store it anyways, because I don't like getting rid of items. And then, of course, bulk is near the items we're going to have most likely in bulk, like stone, and deep slate, and then diggables like dirt, grass, etc. Aqua, just because it fit the theme with everything else over here, but like nether with netherrack. So we've got bulk here. Whenever we get one of these filled up with something, we're going to break that, put the item that we want down there, and we'll know that that goes to that there. There are a few issues, if you may notice. One, it's only one room, and we have literally all of this space not being used because the brain didn't brain. So I gotta figure out a way to get up in here that makes sense. I liked the chest wall. I originally had like a section here, not there. The other thing we don't have are our own workstations, which is a little bit of a problem. So there's a lot of things to kind of figure out. One idea, I'm gonna sleep. One idea that I had was to actually build an entire second building kind of right next to this, like one chunk over, and have a little bridge that actually goes into the top section, and maybe have a few bridges that go between the buildings, and then you go into that building and get in there through that. It felt a little bit backwards to do it like that. Oh, goodbye, zombie. But hey, nah, I don't want to do that. So I got to figure out a way to get upstairs, and maybe we use a water vader. That might actually be a good strategy. I don't know yet. I'll still think about it. But yeah. That's it for that. Now I just gotta, sort everything, move everything, grab everything from my digs and get it into bulk, make all the shulker boxes. There's a lot that has to happen, and I'm probably gonna do most of this while live streaming. So if any of you guys want to watch me live, I'll be doing that. So yeah, I'll be watching out for the live stream. I live stream on both Twitch and YouTube, so have fun. Alright, let's sort this thing. Alright, one stream later, and we now have everything sorted in where it needs to go. I still keep forgetting to get the mod that allows me to see inside of the shulker boxes a little bit easier, but as I was saying, in the testing world, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 items already here, and if you remember, there's one item back here, which is leaf litter. So we've already got more than we could fit up above us. So yeah, that was kind of a problem. Now that we've got everything sorted in here and everything is where it needs to be, bulk is where it needs to be, we'll worry about figuring out that later. What I want to do is I want to decorate myself as well as get Swift Sneak because it's kind of annoying building things without Swift Sneak. So I'm going to head into a deep dark, get myself some silence armor trims, and get myself some Swift Sneak. So let's dive into the dark. I'll see you guys there. Well, I went to the deep dark, got myself all kitted out. We now have the Swift Sneak. We also have the Silence upgrade with Amethyst, and I quite like the way this looked. But I tell you, I didn't see you guys there. Where were you? It was scary down there, okay? It was dark. Man, I was terrified. Y'all weren't there. I said I'd see you there, and you weren't there. Oh well, it's fine. We got it all sorted out. As we walk through our non-existent forest, you'll notice we did some work to the base while you guys weren't there. I did work to the base. So we've got a parking lot now, and I've tried some things out. So we've got arrows now pointing to the flow of traffic, our street lights, and it's supposed to be a stop sign. I am debating whether or not I want to put map art on these to actually have a stop sign. But I'm not a fan of the blockiness of literally a block, so I kind of want to find another option. Unfortunately, I tried mangrove, that's a hard word to say, mangrove shelves, and it didn't connect to the fence, which is a bit of a problem. So right now, I'm just leaving it as is. I also did this to this parking lot as well, and that allowed me to cover up the dark spots that were kind of just out in the middle that I couldn't quite reach with the lights underneath the carpets over here. So we just went ahead, put arrows there, and now we can do that. And now, as you can see, up close, it looks pretty bad, but when you zoom out, like, it's not terrible. It doesn't look bad. And then we did some work over here. You might notice a giant hole that's in there. As you know, we already have this. We've been kitting things out. I decided to remove the module for the miscellaneous because, well, we weren't using it. I have somewhere for everything to go. Every single item has a spot to go in one of these 23 categories. So the 24th miscellaneous category didn't feel necessary. So I put a staircase here and we go up. And this time we're using blast furnaces as the floor, which I really like. But man, this was really expensive. Not on the iron. We got plenty of that. The stone. Friggin' stone and cobblestone. It's drained me. I have so little now. We'll have to dig out another hole or something. And you might be wondering, speaking of holes, what this hole is right here. Well, as I was transferring all of my items over on stream, an idea struck me, one of pure genius. And that idea was, what if we put a happy gas garage in this building, since I didn't know what to do at the top, since, you know, our brain didn't brain. So that's exactly what we've got going, or at least started with, is a happy gas storage here. So I'm thinking, ooh, what are you doing there? Oh, you're from down below. Hold up, let me... Hold. 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 There you go. Yeah. Okay, whatever. Oh, no, they see me now. Oh, well. Anyways, happy gas storage. Let's build a garage. Let's do it. Well, at no point during this build did I know what that guy was doing. I was just kind of throwing things together. My inspiration was Pearlescent Moon's design that she kind of went with in Hermitcraft Season 10 for her gas storage. So I was like, I'm just going to throw things together, made a ton of orange terracotta. I don't know why I did that. I didn't even need a full stack of terracotta to fill that space, and I made 8 stacks of orange terracotta, and it didn't even look good. So now I have 8 stacks of orange terracotta. Maybe I can use it later. But yeah, we went with this. Unfortunately, the ghast actually got out. I thought when I did it the first time he was staying in there, wasn't leaving. So I was like, oh, well, we're fine. And then next thing you know, he's floating around out here. So I was like, well, now we got to figure out a way to stop him. So I put mangrove shelves, and yes, you can get in and out. But we'll see how long that holds him. We'll see if that does work. I feel like it should, because it's a very narrow gap that you actually have to fly through in order to get there. And I'm hoping his AI programming will be able to do that. So we're going to leave that up there and figure out some other things. And I've decided the way into said happy gas storage, if we come up here, is actually through the top. So that's kind of the vibe that I want to go in here. It's like, okay, you want to get on him, you go in here, yep. But you don't take damage because of that. And then, yep, there you go. Nice, easy, in and out. Just kind of fly in. And, boom, look at that. Oh, I guess I guess you can take damage. And then you just pop on out. So we'll definitely need to have a floor up here so that we can definitely get to our happy gas. But otherwise, I think that looks pretty good. The next thing that I want to work on is a little bit more utility-based. I want to kit out the shulker box here. There are several other colors that we are currently not using that I would like to utilize. I've already come up with the items that I'd like to keep in my ender chest at all times, so I'm just going to kind of grind, move everything over from the storage system into those shulker boxes, and get that all sorted out. I'll show you the final product once we get it done. Well, I've been busy kitting out all of these, and I finally got the mod that I've been needing. So, this is the utilities box, the arrows, stones, rockets, oh, I forgot to name this, that's awkward. Woods, our wood box, our redstone box, our transportation box, our workstation box, our flowers box. We've got our greenery box, we've got a copper box, a richides box, a aqua box, dimensional box, and a tools box, and then our colored box. So yeah, we're doing pretty well with kind of everything here. I actually need to re-sort out the richides box so it's a little bit better, seeing as like iron is now being stored in the copper box, which I know it's copper, but it made sense to keep the iron bits over here and have a little separator because there's not that much copper. Everything is supposed to be waxed, but unfortunately I had to craft a lot of these items, so they're not waxed, and I'm just not going to deal with it. But yeah, we've got everything else there. The aqua box. I'm missing an item. Oh, I'm missing, yeah, dark prismarine, so that's fun. I don't have access to that. Dimensional, of course, all of our dimensional stuff. And some of these are boxes we've already had. So a lot of these boxes are what inspired the organizational systems over here. So that's kind of how I planned out how I wanted to do those boxes. So, now that we've got our shulker box all kitted out, and we've got all of our sorting kitted out, I think I want to turn my attention back indoors. And back upstairs specifically, because there's nothing going on over here. And I want to see if I can't put a portal in here, alright? You might be saying, well, that's fine, there's no portals around. Well, you'd be wrong. Okay, there are portals around. I had to put chunk loaders beneath and inside of the moss farm, so that way if I AFK there, or when I AFK there, if I get kicked from the server, the moss farms don't break and I don't have to fix them, because it's 32 individual moss farms. We don't want any of those to break. So, there's portals down there. There's a good chance that it'll connect, but I feel like I'm far enough away, and if I put the portal on the back wall over here, we might be able to handle that. So, I'm going to figure out exactly what the layout of this place is going to be, what exactly I'm going to build in here, and where that portal is going to end up being. When you next see me, I'm going to be exiting through a successful portal. Well, you know, when I'm looking this way, that means I've done work to the base. Now, let me tell you, I completely changed everything that you have seen so far. So let's just take a look. It is nothing like what you remember it being. Holy cow, this place absolutely took a turn. We ended up using the orange terracotta, even though I said I was mad that I made it. I ended up using it, and I really like the way that this place came out. It's just, it looks so good. I love it. It's a very Pearl solar punk kind of style. If we look inside of here in the maintenance area, we changed it in here. We've got the little, like, archway here, 6 wide, and then of course the ground's very dirty, all the leaves from chubbers flying on in. And then we've got this little like docking bay. If we actually take chubbers and let's say like we get in here, we go backwards, we go all the way down, walk straight off. It's awesome. And we can pop down here and look at this. Oh, it's looking so good. You come up the stairs, you got big windows. And then you'll see these two spaces are a bunch of micro farms. So we got lichen, ferns, bushes, firefly bushes, dried bush, maintenance over here. All the levers turn the farms on. And on the other side, we've got all of our flowers over here and wildflowers. We've got drip leaf here, which I don't actually have one there. So let's just, so you can see it. We've got both of the hanging items, glubs over there, and sweet berry bushes. And once again, all of these levers control a different thing. This, I believe, controls the hanging moss, while this one controls the glubs over here. And we've got maintenance exits on both sides here. For the ceiling, we went with smithing tables again, and we've got the patented end rod lever lighting system, which I think looks very scientific. We decided to change the floor from blast furnaces over to beehives because it fits with this theme a lot better. Now, it's not super decorated in here in terms of the walls. Like, there's not a lot. And I don't know if I am going to do anything with it, but I feel like I could maybe put things on the sides or not. But over here, we've got the staircase. Now, I did leave this as blast furnaces, and if we run back over here, I also left the blast furnaces here and here, because I felt like it makes sense now, and the blast furnaces definitely go a lot better with the brick and granite over there, and I figured that blast furnaces, this more tiled, kind of darker floor, fit with a staircase. Now, if we go upstairs, it's a big empty space, and look at it. Guys, we finally have a functional portal. And this entire space here, I'm going to transform to be a really epic portal entrance for anybody that's coming to visit the base. So, without further ado, let's roll a time lapse and start building. And I can tell you, I have no idea what I'm doing. And done. We have the portal room complete, and it looks quite nice. I'm really liking this this old sciencey vibe. We've got lights everywhere, walkways, and then we've got the viewing platforms up here. So we have like more of the grunt work, a bunch of computer stations over here so they can control portal and kind of everything like that, and just kind of taking all the research. And then you have more of like where like the ultimate viewing point is right over here. And I have yet to see what this looks like with shaders on, but I bet it'll look pretty good. Oh yeah, it's all coming. This is looking really, really nice. I'm liking the way that this is coming out. Now, of course, I don't have anything in here, and there's a little bit of a problem with this whole build. And let's go ahead and turn shaders off. It's a little frame rating and go back to our normal view here. So the problem right now with the build is I actually don't mind that this is kind of more bland in this room because it's meant to be the giant white scientific facility research room, right? The issue is, and unfortunately I've killed all of the guests, is all of the zombified piglins that are coming through this portal. With a portal of this size, more piglins spawn, which means that we'll have a lot of those guys around and about. Now, because of Minecraft pathfinding, unfortunately, they all pathfind to up there. So I thought maybe I could do something cool, but because I've already got somewhat of a plan for up there, I don't quite want to do that. So instead, what I'm thinking is right behind the portal, have a little bit of like a step up, and then right in here have soul sand with wither roses. And so they'll walk up and they'll fall into a little bit of a space, and they won't be able to get out of said space. Yeah, and turtle eggs up there in order to get that. So I'm going to put that little bit of a system in, and that's probably going to do it for the episode. So let's get this little piglin killing chamber done, and I'll see you guys when that's done. And the piglin throne has been built. The piglins will walk up here, trying to get to these guys, and they'll die. And you might be like, oh, look at that, it's already working. I actually don't know if it works. This was just a random guy that decided to walk straight into it, so at least, like, they'll walk there. I don't have another guy that has spawned yet, but I trust this system is flawless. It's really nice because there are turtles literally behind me on the beach over there, and actually quite a few of them. And fun fact, this is the first time I've bred animals together, so that's cool. But I think that's going to do it for this episode. Now, before I leave you guys, I just wanted to let you know that I'll be going back to college, so I won't have nearly as much time to play the game and therefore make videos and live stream. And I have started live streaming again, so see if you can't catch me live. Alright, that's going to do it for this episode, and hopefully I can get another one out to you pretty soon, but if let's be honest, it'll probably take a few months. So, yeah. Alright, bye! This isn't looking the hottest, not gonna lie. This curve isn't too shabby, but like, I don't know, this just doesn't really work really well. I don't know. Feels like this could use an upgrade.